Aloha, and welcome to the first in a series of conversations bringing you a mystical perspective on life. I'm your host, Reverend Cindy Paulos, and I have been studying and practicing and meditating with metaphysics for over 50 years. And I began with Dr. Paul Leon Masters when I was 13 or 14 years old. It was a long time ago. And he taught me how to meditate, and it changed my life forever. And the University of Metaphysics, University of Sedona, and their wonderful staff are continuing to do great work in metaphysics. You can go to metaphysics.com for information. Today I'm going to be focusing on a wonderful book that Dr. Masters wrote called Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations. Practical, mystical, and spiritual inspiration applied to your life. And this is a beautiful book that's out on Amazon. And we're going to be going over some affirmations that fit beautifully for Easter. I'm going to be going through the different affirmations celebrating the mysteries of Christ, the resurrection, and you. And we'll start right in on this. I'll go through them, and then I'll also get into a meditation and a few poems that I wrote, because after I meditate, I always sit down every time and write something. So I have thousands and thousands of these things, and those have turned into many books, 5 books and 5 CDs. But let's get started with the affirmations that work so beautifully. Obviously, we're thinking about resurrection this time of year, and we're thinking about Christ consciousness as well. And we'll get through all of that in this conversation. First, let's start with his first affirmation. Realization. All events in the life of Jesus symbolize inner events in the awakening and resurrection of Christ consciousness in me. Now, this is the wonderful mystery, of course, as above, so below, as in Christ consciousness in Jesus, so we can learn from his life. And we can connect with that and change our life by following it. Christ consciousness is a state of consciousness that's one of the highest consciousness you can be at. I would think that if you were wanting to relate it to another word in Buddhism, you'd call it enlightenment. But basically, you are at that point where you're totally in love and light, in tune and one with God, and you don't leave it. Now, I've had some enlightenment experiences in my life, and they're amazing. But you come back. Now, your perspective can be different, but your everyday life, you still have to live it from whatever situation you still need to learn from. And there's lots of things to learn in life. So that's what we're looking at in resurrection. And this is such a beautiful thing. I mean, there's many things we've all gone through in the last year. Now it's springtime. Now it's time. We've made it through winter, and it's time to let the past and all the things go and be resurrected in Christ mind consciousness, being reborn again. Now, Christ mind consciousness is the next affirmation. It says, I recognize that Christ mind consciousness is that part of my mind where my mortal presence and universal mind, or God, are as one presence. Now, that's the key there, too. If you can be at one. Now, we know in spirit and in reality, we really are part of all one God energy force. God's the creator, and we're all part of it. But to be able to be aware that you are indeed one with God is that Christ mind consciousness, again, that we're talking about, that stays with you. You know, metaphysics means meta, mean beyond, and physics is physical. So what we're doing, and what I'm always doing when I meditate, is we're bridging that highest part we connect with, that inner spirit or God, with our physical everyday life. We're making that bridge within our own lives. And it gets stronger and stronger as we go. Then again, the tests get heavier and heavier sometimes too. And again, you can see that in Jesus Christ's life, you know. He was, being honored finally at the end, and then that was the week that he got crucified, So, but he absolutely knew that this form isn't the end. This isn't the end all at all. He knew that he was going back to God. In fact, he had a light body that he was able to be born again into and visit back on earth and be able to transfer from the highest consciousness to earth again. Now, that takes a little bit of work. But you know what? Christ told us that he wanted us to do what he did. He said he came to be that living example. You know, how often do we doubt ourselves and we don't think that we can embody that Christ consciousness? But that was what he wished us to do. Now, the next affirmation's on meditation. It says, through my daily practice of meditation, I resurrect Christ mind consciousness within myself. Now, this is again that chance to be born into that light and to be resurrected and let the old go, let the things that are the past go, to forgive and to release and to again be inspired and on fire with that flame of the soul that completely lets the old go and you be new with that wonderful light that is the brightest light of the world, the light of Christ's mind consciousness. Resurrection and visualization. Daily, I take a few moments to mentally visualize or imagine that either the figure of Jesus representing Christ consciousness in me or a Christ light is ascending upward within me from the trunk of my body, rising upward into my head and out through the top of it into whatever infinity may be. Now, through the years, I've learned some wonderful exercises, some actually that Dr. Masters had me teach years ago about exercises that you can do that combine that wonderful energy of Christ mind consciousness. If you think about the cross, the original cross was, of course, the Celtic was even vertical and horizontally. But the Christ cross that you see people wearing, that's the same outline as what we get when we look at our own bodies. In other words, there's a head and a body of light all the way straight down the vertical line in the body. If your arms are outstretched, just outstretch your arms, that's the vertical. I'm sorry, the other is the horizontal. So the vertical is up and down, that light, and the horizontal is the love. And when I breathe in a powerful light column down right from my head on down to my feet. And I stretch out my arms and I let the love in front of me, I picture the Christ in front of me coming right into my heart and spreading out to my arms in a horizontal cross. Now, what Dr. Master does, which I'd love to add on to it, is once you've done that vertical light coming down, which is the light, and the horizontal, which is the love, then breathe into that heart where everything is met, and breathe down to the base of your spine, and now bring that light up from the very base of your spine, the root chakra on up and up, and, move it into the above through the solar plexus and into the heart, and carrying it on up through the neck and the crown chakra and out the top. Now, you can do this as many times as you want. Basically, what you're doing is using the light force and love force together to clear your chakras and the energy in your spine and connecting that with the Christ consciousness. The next affirmation is a very interesting one. I've really never seen anyone else in metaphysics talk about this, and I find it extremely interesting. It's called grave clothes removal. Well, what does grave clothes removal mean? He says, throughout my mind, I remove the grave clothes of mortal life, death, to be resurrected into the light of Christ mind consciousness in my awareness, thoughts, and feelings. Now, how powerful is that? This is indeed, again, we were talking about resurrecting and what Christ did as Jesus to give us an example of what that resurrection was. This is after he died and was put in the cave. Of course, then they put the stone across, and when they went back, the cave was open, the stone was rolled away, and there was just the cloths. But he had resurrected into the light body, and he had completely left the physical body. And the physical body, in fact, was completely gone. So he transmuted and resurrected himself. Now, we can do the same with ourselves. We can have the grave clothes removal. It seems pretty heavy. But it's really very powerful when you think about the fact that, our organs, our body, and everything kind of gets worn down in time. What about re-energizing it, renewing it, restoring it, resurrecting it into that light, which you can do daily? The next affirmation is resurrected living. I am daily under the influence of the risen Christ mind consciousness, resurrected in me. How powerful is that? That's pretty powerful. I am daily under the influence of the risen Christ mind consciousness. Now, what you're doing is you're planting with these affirmations a seed thought. What is a seed thought? Well, a seed thought is where an affirmation really comes into its full power and being. You're saying these affirmations and they are planting seeds. They're planting seeds of energy. They're planting seeds of light. They're planting seeds that will change your life forever. So it's a beautiful thing when you think that you can plant seeds of love and light and use those to be completely resurrected. And when you meditate in the morning, you are indeed resurrecting your life. You're planting the seeds with these affirmations to completely, hopefully, bring the flowering of the blossom throughout the day. That flowering of the blossom is a beautiful thing, and it grows with kindness, it grows with love, it grows with care, it grows with sharing, and it grows with us believing that it is indeed present. So it's a powerful thing. The next one is, identity. My resurrected identity is lived in at one-ment with the Christ, God, universal mind, spirit, consciousness. So this at one-ment, I love the word at one-ment. If you break it down, it's atonement. At one-ment is atonement as well. And when you are at one with this resurrected identity, it's, again, you've let your individual self go. I'm no longer Cindy. I am at one with God. In fact, you know what? We all have soul names. We're just using these names in this lifetime. And you become at one with that God. Jesus was not called Jesus Christ. He was Jesus of Nazareth, or actually Jeshua. But, Jesus Christ, when he passed on and he made his transition and he became born again into the light, that was his at one-ment with Christ and God and Christ consciousness that stayed forever with him, being able to be connected as our teacher and called upon. The last one is one-ment. In my resurrected Christ mind consciousness, I am in one-ment with God's love, health, creativity, fulfillment, and happiness throughout my body, mind, and soul. How powerful is that? The Creator is very creative. and when you meditate, you open up the doors to that creativity. That's why I write every day, and that's why I have 5 books and 5 CDs, and I've got another book I'm working on that's going to come out. And people say, wow, you're really prolific. And I'm saying, well, it's what comes to me after I meditate. And that is because I tap in to that wonderful energy of the Creator. These were on page 19 in the book Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations, Practical, Mystical, and Spiritual Inspiration Applied to Your Life by Dr. Paul Dion Master, who was the founder of the International Metaphysical Ministry, University of Metaphysics, and University of Sedona. And you can also get the book on Amazon. He has another book out, too, called Mystical Insights, which it's beautiful. So you can get that on Amazon, or go to metaphysics.com, and you can pick those up. We'll be going over more of these as the time goes on, but I want to read you what I wrote. This is one of the poems I told you I wrote after I meditate. And behold, I make all things new, and when you are weary, a light will come from the highest one and bring new energy and a new dream of life. And then you will behold a new joy. And you will also behold the light and love of God as it comes through you to the earth. And though you've been laden with the cares of the world, a new hope will come to you, and a new path of love for the one who brings this light. And you will be guided to know a better way to be the one who lives with the Spirit of God, and the joy of knowing the light of the soul within that time that is given, to be in this world, but not of it. And behold, I make all things new. So be born again in this light, breathe in this joy, and find the love that is yours to share. And smile with the knowing of this divine gift. And let your life reflect this love with the gratitude of the one who has been given a new life by the one who knows no death, just the resurrection of spirit. And in you is the chance to behold this Spirit for this new life of love, the new hope of love as the dream of life eternal. For behold, I make all things new. Let's go into a meditation now based on resurrection. Let's breathe deep and relax and let all tension go. Just get comfortable. Breathe in peace and let it fill your body and mind. Let all distractions go and go into a deep state of meditation. Join with all the other souls who are the light workers around the world and those that may be listening. And from that point of light, that highest light in the mind of God, allow God's Spirit to come into your soul. Let that light enlighten you with pure, unconditional love. Feel that love. Be that light. Let it come into your being. Let it surround you and extend around your body outward in a protective, beautiful circle of light. This is the light that ignites a fire in your heart, the light that leads us out of the world of darkness into the inner light of Christ. Embrace that light. Let that light of the universe ignite the holy presence there inside. Let go and release all thoughts, and now feel the presence of God alive in you. Allow God to manifest in your body, in your mind, in your soul. Feel your body being restored and renewed. Release all that may have been dead in spirit to be now renewed and restored and resurrected in the pure light of the Christ filling you now. This light is the pure light that transforms as it fills your body with a light body that lives in the light after the physical body has been left behind. It enlightens you to be lifted to the one light of all life. The Christ light now merges with your soul and God. Feel that merging that brings you the love of all creation that's present right here in the infinite light. It lifts you beyond the physical into the highest dimensions. The vibration of that Holy Spirit now renews all of the cells and organs of your body, for now the body is in the process of being resurrected to the divine energy of God's love and light. That light leads us out of the world of darkness into the inner light of Christ. Feel that movement of light as you move beyond the physical and join with the universal energy, the stars and the cosmos, the one source of all light. With the Holy Presence there inside, you are merged with that oneness. Connect with it and find the unlimited energy present in your consciousness. It's omnipotent. With the spirit that lives in everything, you are one with every single being on earth. You are one with the flowers. You are one with the waters. You are one with all of life. And let that spirit open the door to God's unlimited love, so that now you are merging with the Christ to be one with God in reality. You are resurrected. You are the unlimited energy, and with every breath you embrace that living light, that spirit that can be with God and here on earth, alive in you, that light of all creation that we perceive and that we are knowing is God's unlimited, infinite, great love. Breathe it in and feel the bliss of Christ's embrace uniting us all as one. Experience this as the greatest offering, the greatest gift of life, this love that is alive and at work in your life. Absorb that power within and let it bring you the knowledge that you will live eternally, and bring you the knowledge that there is no death. There is only life after life after life eternal. Feel that love of God guide you and direct you as you begin to come back into your body and come out of meditation, and take a moment to be aware of how you feel. Feel your energy transformed and renewed. For you are now filled with the power of God's infinite love and light. You are resurrected and made whole with the Christ alive in you. Thank God for the power of this eternal light and resurrection. Let it be so, and so it is. This is the love that God has for His creation, to allow us to know that He is with us always, and that we are one with that hope, that peace, that promise of goodwill and joy to the world. God's pure unconditional love came to life through the love of God and Mary, a love that was and still is brought to us through Christ. This is the lighted way, and it's a light that truly transforms us. The light of Christ is part of us, building the light body as Christ did. So when we think of Christ consciousness, we now know that we can feel that love and light, that union with God. We can go into meditation and we can call upon that unlimited energy, that power, just as Christ did. And we can call upon the guidance that we need to get through every single day. And if you find yourself straying or in challenging situations, as life will do, remember with the breath to go back to that light of Christ. I wrote this as well. I embrace the changes that life brings. I release the past and all negativity. I hear God's truth now calling. With the path I must follow to be free. I see the light on the horizon, and it beckons me. And there's a candle lit with a prayer that love transmits. To understand that healing comes when we believe in our hearts that we are one, and we forgive and find strength to allow God's will to bring us faith, to finally be wholly alive and face to face with that Christ light. And we realize we can only survive when God's love resurrects our life. So on this holy time of year, embrace that Christ consciousness. Don't doubt it. Don't put limitations on it. Call upon it always. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it enlightenment. But when you go into a state of meditation, don't hold back. Give yourself fully, wholly, 100% to that light and love of God. There are such great teachings that we can learn from the life of Jesus and how he did transcend and how he was able to find the eternal light. In his life, he consistently showed the love, the kindness, the patience, the gentleness, and the way to live our lives. And with that learning that we have when we reflect on his, we can be open to that spirit there within us. He said, "The kingdom of God is within." Let's never forget that kingdom is so unlimited, and it's there, just waiting for us to call upon it. It's a blessing that brings blessings that we can share. Jesus' divine life plan disclosed itself to him over the course of his lifetime, and just as we can open ourselves to the infinite spirit to find our own higher purpose, Jesus accomplished this during his human lifetime. He's an inspiring guide to help us achieve this for ourselves. Once he fully achieved his own state of Christ consciousness, he was able to manifest and depict to others his divine self. His purpose was twofold and provided the living link between our Creator Source, God, and humanity, to show each person how to experience God and you, that God that's living there, that holy spark that we have within. And it is the love that is the key. Love for each person, the love that God has for us always waiting there, that will resurrect us, that will help us to forgive, that will help us to shed and let go of the old ways and find more love and light than we could possibly imagine, that's just waiting for us to experience there. This is the mystical union we talk about, and I'll be talking more about mystical perceptions each week as we go through them. Again, Dr. Master's books are on Amazon. If you wish to get them, go to metaphysics.com. You can get them there. I like to end with the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. Father, Mother of the cosmos, shimmering light of all, focus your light within us as we breathe your holy breath. Enter the sanctuary of our hearts, uniting within us the sacred rays of your power and beauty. Let your heart's desire unite heaven and earth through our sacred union. Help us fulfill what lies within the circle of our lives today. Forgive our secret fears as we freely choose to forgive the secret fears of others. Let us not enter forgetfulness, tempted by false appearances, for from your astonishing fire comes the eternal song, which sanctifies all, renewed eternally in our lives and throughout creation. We seal these words in our hearts, committed in trust and faith. Amen. Amama, amama, uanoa. The prayer is freed. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Cindy Paulos. You can go to my website at cindypaulos.com, and I'll be doing regular weekly episodes here. I hope you can join me. Again, this is really a treat and a pleasure, and you can go to metaphysics.com to find out how you can get some wonderful meditations, some lessons, and find out how you can be a part of the metaphysical community. It's a blessing that truly will change your life forever. I thank you so much for joining me. I feel very blessed, and I wish you all the happiest of springtime, Easter, and the resurrected self. Enjoy each and every moment of spring and know that you are indeed blessed by God.